Welcome along to the Finnish countryside where the nature is pure and the renovations never end. Three steps carries, and then I think ready. It's been a long day. Happy March! This day didn't exactly work like I thought it would. I went to the plot to film some of the last bits for this video to show you the floors and where we're at right now. And when I was coming back from there, the engine light went on our car, so I drove the car straight to the garage, and now I have to walk back home from town. I have never walked this way, and I had no idea there's such a beautiful spot here. Our home is that way for about 20 minutes walk, I think. So I think this will be my next favorite spot here. So if there's new people here watching, we have been building these floors for a while now. It's a long task because we are using traditional methods and materials, so there's a lot of steps, and we are doing this for the first time ever. Before this we have only put on some wallpaper and paint, and that's it. So now we're basically rebuilding this whole house, so it takes time to learn all of this stuff, but we're getting there. And so yeah, I don't know where to begin. Where did we left off? We started to put the papering on, yes. So the idea is that it prevents the wind from blowing through the insulation and making the floors cold. So the paper has to be really tight and solid without any holes, because otherwise the cold air will find its way in. So there's the tongue and groove boards on the bottom, and then the paper comes on top of it. And we just used staple gun to first attach it, and later we're gonna install proper trim there to keep it on its place. So the paper, it's quite thick and it's not easy to rip or break, but of course that happened in a few spots, so we had to put this tape there to kind of make sure that it stays where it should. For now at least. I'm not trusting the tape enough for it to hold there for years to come, so I think the tape will fall off before the floors will. But other than that, we succeeded without any major problems or damage in the paper or anywhere else on the floor, so I'm pretty pleased.
Driving in the country past old-timey scenes, big birds were singing in the tall willow trees. Mighty fine. 3 words written on a paper bag. I miss you was written in a message in black.
I came here to install a bit of those triangular I don't know if those are not boards, but more like rim. Not sure. I'm gonna write it here what I mean. So anyway, we have done all the papering there in the kitchen area. So now it's time to like seal those corners so that the wind don't blow through. I love that bird. Okay, but let's get going. In the last video I was still unsure what we're gonna do next, but turns out we're obviously continuing with the floors, as I said. I probably have already showed you in this video, but yeah, we decided to do that because it was just so annoying to walk there in the kitchen area when there's no floors. So we decided that we're gonna build the freaking floors and get over with it. At least then we're gonna actually see that something is coming together. Have to put on these pants so you can see me better. I just moved the camera. I don't know if I'm in it or not, but yeah, so this is once again one of those tasks that I haven't done before, and I didn't see clear instructions. But this is pretty simple, so I think whichever way I decide to do this, I'm not gonna mess up things a whole lot. So yeah, the idea is to put the triangular rim around all of these, so that it kind of gets the gap between the paper and the wall or the joists tight. Let's see how my first cut went. Ooh, it's tight. No, it went, yes. Nice. It's tight. Not from here, but I think that will do the job. It seems like we don't have 90 degrees angles here in this house. Otherwise that would be good, but
I'll meet you down the
yeah, good.
And all the days from now to then, if I never seem to come or to go, find me in your memories that keep you from getting so low. And give me time. I'll meet you down the line.
Oh my god! What?
Down the line.
This was the last piece and it's a perfect match. It's meant to be.
Meet up down the line. Down the line.
So the question that probably some of you might be thinking is that why are we doing things such a hard way? Because there is modern methods that are so much faster to build, and they're like windproof and waterproof and everything. All these methods that we are using, they have been used for decades or hundreds of years here in northern parts of Europe. Of course, the methods we use now are not the exact methods they used. The products I'm using, for example, here, they were not available, so they have been using just like tree trunks cut half. That was the lower part of the flooring, where we now used this ponttilauta. And on top of that, where we used paper, they used newspaper or tree bark. And then on the insulation, where we use now like sawdust or recycled newspaper pulp or something, I have no idea what these words should be. They used sand and hay and dirt and peat, and yeah, but the system is exactly the same. So this is the method that has worked for so long in Finland in these like extreme weather changes and everything. So we are sticking with that because there's no reason to change that for anything else.
Is this all just pushing water uphill?
The renovation for us is time consuming, and it has to be the priority number one at the moment, but there's of course a lot of priorities on top of that, and what I have struggled a bit lately is not finding time to make music. Yeah, I wish that there was more days in a week so I could dedicate a day or two in a week just to make music, so I could kind of move on with that dream of mine. But finally I had the option to do just that, because my husband was away for a week in the beginning of this month, so I had the time and the apartment all to myself. So I decided to take the week and do just that, only music and nothing else. For me, the recording process is so slow, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get anything on tape. So for someone, working every night for a week might be enough to do a full-length album and a best of collection, but I can barely get started. But little by little, as the nights rolled by, I got a couple of demos on tape and even learned something new in the meanwhile. After the solo week at home, I got my husband back and we got to continue the work on the plot. We are now adding a second layer of the joists so that we can make more room for the insulation. The thickness of the insulation will be about 40 centimeters, so that's up to the recommendations and should keep our toes warm in the winter. The further the work continued, the more the incredible smell of the fresh wood filled the house. And let me just tell you, after coughing out dust for almost 3 years, I have waited for this smell for a long time. So yesterday we were on the plant to finish some things and last screws and spots, and I just wiped the floor of the sawdust. And so the floor structures are now done, and the next step is to figure out where the drainage for the kitchen sink should go, and we need to attach the pipe for that, and after that we can start to blow the insulation there. When the insulation is there, we need to put the paper on top of it, so that kind of keeps all the insulation in place. After the paper is there, we can move on to start fixing and attaching and bringing back the old original floorboards. So I'm thinking that next video that I have out, we'll have at least one floorboard attached, and that's the goal. Okay, but I think I'm gonna go home now. I have a bit of a walk to do still, and it's getting dark, but we'll be seeing next month, and it's gonna be spring, full-blown spring by then, and maybe we have one floorboard attached, so keep your fingers crossed for us.